Why not
Why
four
not?
CTs?
Why not 4 2 CTs? It's a bad joke.
Now I get it. That was a Polaroid joke.
Yeah.
Took a second to develop. I'm Zach.
Hi, Abu.
Abu? Really great to meet you too. Thanks for being here.
And this is
Alma.
Alma, yes.
Hello. Great. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, probably. We got some new faces since last time you were here.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Be right back.
Okay. Cool.
This is wrong.
Is this similar to what you did at family reunion? The breakout?
No, that was
Okay.
the one I did with Jenny Woolett.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's different.
Okay. Never tell them.
Titles.
Just titles and description of the course and whatnot.
Yep.
Hi.
What's up? How are you?
Good, how are you?
Nice to see you.
No see.
No see. Indeed.
Tall people.
It's like co-star Ruben. How big?
So last time I was here, this was all under construction. How
Yes.
long has it been done? 3 months?
2.5.
2.5? Yeah.
No, like it took 2.5 months.
No, how long has it been done?
Oh, it has been done January.
Okay, so half a year?
Yeah,
Cool.
half a year. Yeah.
Nice. Right around family reunion? Right before? Nice. That's how I rate everything. How close was it to family reunion? How ready you came?
Can we get a show and a lesson?
Apparently. Make it awkward. Something tight. We good to go? Cool. It's 2:30, Realtor Standard Time. This is a good time to get started. How we doing, guys?
Awesome.
Awesome. I've had the opportunity to meet all of you either today or I know you already. My name is Zach Younger. I'm the Regional Technology Director for Keller Williams Northern California Hawaii region, which is just a fancy title for it's my job to help our top agents and our leaders be as productive and profitable as possible in their real estate business, usually through the use of technology as the Technology Director. However, like many of you, I'm also a realtor, been in the business for 12 years, been with Keller Williams all 12 of those years. I've been working with the region now for about 4 years as the Regional Technology Director, and I'm also a member of the Master Faculty for Keller Williams University, which is just another fancy title for I get to go teach awesome classes to awesome people like you all over the world, which is a lot of fun to dive into people's businesses and really help people provide massive value for their clients and their sphere of influence and all of that fun stuff. Today, in our next hour together, we're going to be diving into how to automate your business using the Millionaire Real Estate Agent systems, or the MREA systems, to love your life a little bit more. Here's one thing I know. When we can automate as much as humanly possible in our real estate business, life is a little easier. We get to talk to the people we like talking to. We get to do the things we like to do instead of being stuck behind a computer all the time, feeling like we need to send a report or run a property search and send it over to your clients. We can automate a lot of that stuff through Keller Williams technology and Command. But before we dive into that, I want to bring up this little book. By a show of hands, who's read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent? Good, almost everyone, fantastic. Is this a safe space? Can I say something controversial? Yeah? Safe space? Good? Cool. All right, from now on, if you're in a class at Keller Williams and someone asks if you've read this book, it's socially acceptable to lie and say you've read it even if you haven't. It's about as controversial as I'm going to get today. So I'm going to ask again, who in here has read this book? Oh, good, everyone, fantastic. Now, for those of us in the room that have actually read the whole thing, because I didn't ask if you read the whole thing, maybe you've just read the cover 6 times. You've read it. But for those of you that have read it, why is it so important that people read this book? Why do we talk about The Millionaire Real Estate Agent so much?
Because it's the systems that helps you grow your business.
Couldn't have said it better myself. I love that. This is the models and systems to grow your real estate business. Said another way, the MREA is the models and systems to run a wildly successful real estate business. Gary Keller, our founder and chairman of the board, wrote this book with Dave Jenks and Jay Papazan, and what they did is they went and interviewed all of our top agents well over 20 years ago and asked them exactly what they do in their business, and they documented everything. And what they did is they found patterns in all of the major wildly successful real estate businesses, not just with Keller Williams, but with other companies in the industry. And they documented it all into The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. And this literally is what top agents were doing in their business 20 years ago to be wildly successful. Now I bring that up that this book is over 2 decades old at this point. What we found is that things haven't really changed all that much. Other than the fact that we have to use technology more today than we did back in 2003. Technology was a thing. With automation and great technology was far and few between 20 years ago. And so they are rewriting The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. They're going to release a revised edition, which is going to have some more technology in it and things like that. It's also going to talk about mega agent expansion to expand real estate teams across the state or across the county or even across the United States. However, what we're going to talk about here is the models and systems from this book and how to leverage commands to follow those models and systems. I'm also going to share with you some of the facts and figures and diagrams from the new and revised edition. They're not all like publicly available. So what I'd ask you to do right now is scan your QR code up on the screen, because you're probably going to see something that pops up on the screen at some point over our next hour together that you're going to really want. And when you scan this QR code, what you're going to get is a copy of all the slides you're going to see today, with all those little figures and all the stuff that you're going to want. So what I'm saving you from having to do later is pull your phone out and take pictures of the PowerPoint. Now you have a nice, clean digital version of everything that we're going to talk through. Helpful?
Yes.
Love it. Okay, cool. So if The Millionaire Real Estate Agent is the models and systems to run a wildly successful real estate business, what is the tool that we've built to follow the models and systems? Pop quiz. William. Command, exactly right. We literally built Command from the ground up at Keller Williams to follow the models and systems from The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. And so I'll reference different pages and guides from the book. And at the same time, we're going to be jumping into Command and showing you how to use Command to do the things that you learned about when you read the book. Now, before I jump into the models and systems, we always like to talk about what we call the rules of the road, or how we're going to treat each other in the class, our next hour together. One thing for anybody who's ever taken a class from me, I'm a big fan of interaction. Ask questions. So if you've got a question, do not hesitate to raise your hand, stop, ask the question. Chances are, if you've got a question, someone else in the room has the same question. There's an old saying, and that is, there are no stupid questions, only stupid people. And stupid people don't ask questions. Isn't that how it goes? Something like that. What you need to hear is there are no stupid questions. Ask questions. Goes right along with the next one. That's play all in. How you participate in here is how you participate everywhere. And so when somebody asks a question and you might have an answer, share. which goes right along with give and receive. Offer other ideas. If you hear something and it makes you think of another way that we might be able to automate or ultimately leverage technology in our business better, share with the group. That's one of the really cool things about Keller Williams is we share that kind of stuff. And then ultimately, at Keller Williams University and Keller Williams trainings, we always ask for ahas. So be prepared at the end of our training to share at least one aha. For those of you that aren't familiar with what an aha is, think of it like that light bulb moment. Something you heard, whether I said it or somebody else in the room said it, that thing that just made you go, aha. Another little thing to think about, AHA stands for Agents Helping Agents. When we share those light bulb moments, we help the other people around us because it's inevitable. When I ask for AHAs, somebody in the back of the room shares an AHA and then somebody in the front of the room picks up their pen and writes it down. Because sometimes they didn't hear the same thing or they heard it differently. And so we're going to make sure that we share that. And finally, if we're going to spend an hour talking about models and systems and technology, we need to have fun. You guys good with that? Because guess what happens when we talk about technology without having fun?
It's boring.
It hurts. Yeah. And that pain shows up in different ways, but it's boring and all that fun stuff. So we're going to be jumping right into it. What you see up on the screen is one of your first resources that isn't in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. It is, but this is a different version. This comes from page 143 of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. This is the MREA lead generation model. The lead generation model from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Now what you'll see is that this is the revised MREA model, and it's not all that much different than 1.0, which is on page 143, but it is a little bit different. Now, before I jump into this and explain it a little bit more clearly for all of you, it's important to note where this comes up in the book. I said it's page 143. Now, right before that section of the book, Gary Keller, Jay Papasan, and Dave Jenks, they talk about this thing called Mindshare. And if you've got a pen in front of you or you're taking notes on a computer, write this down. It's page 134. It starts on page 133, but the main part of it is on page 134. It's right at the cusp of those pages. Page 134, Gary Keller talks about this thing called Mindshare, and it actually comes from another book called Positioning, A Battle for Your Mind. This is an age-old classic from the marketing industry because in real estate, we are in marketing, we're in sales. And so what Positioning, the book that they reference when it talks about Mindshare, what that goes on to explain through human science is that the human brain is an inadequate vessel of information. The human brain is an inadequate vessel of information. In other words, we suck at remembering things. We do. And so they go on to explain in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent that one of our number one jobs, or our number one job in real estate, is to develop mind share with our consumers. In other words, be top of mind. When they think of real estate, they think of you. In the Positioning book, they go on to explain the human science behind it, and ultimately that the human brain is bombarded by marketing at all times, and it's our job to kind of cut through the clutter. And what they found through studies was that the human brain can only think of or recall one or two brands in any particular category. One or two. So if you were to ask somebody to name all the lawyers they could come up with, how many do you think they'd be able to come up with?
Steve Pierce.
Yeah, one. Maybe two. I mean, science says it. If you were to go out, ask somebody to name every single dentist they know, how many names are you going to come up with? One, maybe two. Yep, exactly. Now, if you were to go ask somebody how many realtors they know, even though everybody in California has a real estate license, so does their sister and their aunt and their cat. How many names are they going to be able to come up with? One, maybe two. The National Association of Realtors does a study every single year and asks people how many realtors they talked to before they hired a realtor. Anyone want to take a stab at how many that was? One, maybe two. In fact, about 76% of every consumer every year hire the first realtor they talk to. 76%. It's crazy. And it talks about it on page 134 of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. NAR does the study every single year. It's right around 76%. And if you add in another 15% that talk to one or two people, you're at 90% of consumers hire the first one of two realtors they talk to. It's mind share. And I like to do just a little social experiment in this class to kind of drive this home. And then we'll get into kind of the action and what's up on the screen there. To help kind of drive this home, what I want everyone to do in the room is think of a toothpaste brand. Everyone got a toothpaste brand? On the count of three, I need you to yell it out. 1, 2, 3, go.
Crest.
Crest.
All right. I heard Crest and I heard Colgate. Did I miss anything? No. Can we all agree that either Crest or Colgate has dominant mind share for you guys, for those of you in the room? Now, there's all sorts of other toothpaste brands. On your marks, get ready. You're going to have to name something other than Crest or Colgate. 1, 2, 3, go.
Sensodyne.
Less than half of you even said something. Why? Human science tells us that you run out of mind share after one or two brands. I heard Sensodyne. Did I hear Tom's of Pain? Is that what you did? Yep. Let's get that one in California. Aquafresh, I did hear. I thought, yep. Yeah. Now, if you were to walk into the grocery store around the corner and walk down the toothpaste aisle, can we all agree you're going to see 50 different brands? And you could probably sing the jingle of at least 6 of them. And yet, when you thought of toothpaste, it's 1 or 2 different brands. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that if you said Crest, you use Crest. So we're going to do another quick little test. I want everyone to think of a car manufacturer. Don't yell it out, okay? All right. Now, will you play along with me? Sure. Which car manufacturer did you think of? Toyota. Fantastic. Did you drive here today?
Yes.
What did you drive?
Lexus.
Fascinating.
It's the same family.
So you're telling me you got out of your house this morning, you looked at a Lexus keychain and unlocked the car, got in your car, stared at a Lexus icon, upside down, right side up, like, for how long did it take you to drive here?
40 minutes.
40 minutes, you stared at a Lexus icon. You got out of the car, you looked at another Lexus icon, you hit lock, you got in here, and I asked you to name a brand and you said Toyota.
Toyota makes Lexus.
Yes, Toyota makes Lexus. This is the fascinating part, and this works perfectly. About 50% of people actually think of a different car manufacturer than the one they drove here today.
Really?
In fact, by a show of hands, who thought of a different car other than what you drive today? Well, there we go. So that's about 30% right now in the room. That's a normal thing. Because just because a certain brand might have dominant mind share doesn't necessarily equate to business. There can be a whole slew of different reasons behind that. The number one reason is people tend to buy or hire based on dominant mind share at the time. This is why in real estate, in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, we say that you need to constantly be in front of your contacts or your database with your messaging or your brand and different things like that, because they might think of a realtor today, but 3 weeks later, if they think of you and that's when they need a realtor, you're probably going to win. In the great words of Ricky Bobby, if you ain't first, you're last. Someone had to know that one in Talladega Nights. So let's get back to page 143 here, or the revised Millionaire Real Estate Agent model. Let me explain this to you really quickly because it's important we really understand. What you're looking at is a sales funnel. Nowadays, the cool word or the buzzword is called ClickFunnels, online and different things like that. But what you have is a sales funnel. And the idea is up at the top, you're feeding the funnel with people. And you do that through what the Millionaire Real Estate Agent calls either prospecting or marketing. In fact, they talk about being prospecting-based, marketing-enhanced, or marketing-based, prospecting-enhanced. Both are good, depends on the market and what your business model looks like. Either way, they can feed your lead generation funnel. What we're going to talk about today is what to do with all the contacts that are already in your funnel. We're going to focus on what to do with the contacts that are in your funnel. Now, in your funnel here, you have 2 types of people. You've got leads and you have contacts. Leads and contacts. Who can tell me their definition of the difference between a lead and a contact?
recognize you in the grocery store, and a contact is somebody who would recognize you in the grocery store.
Fantastic definition. It's a really good way of putting it. A lead is somebody that wouldn't know who you are if you were to bump into them at a grocery store. I love that definition. Give you an alternative definition, which is the exact same thing, but just a different use of words. A lead is somebody that you have their contact information. You might be marketing to them, but they're not talking back to you. One-way conversation. You got their information, you captured their information from a farm or an open house. They met you once or you captured their information, but you kind of know them because you've got some information on them, but they're not having any type of dialogue back. A contact meaning you talk to them, they talk to you. When you call, they tend to answer. Now, it doesn't mean that they always answer. Voicemails are a real thing, but they recognize you, as Bree mentioned, in the grocery store. Either way, all of the people in your funnel fall into one of those two categories, leads versus contacts. Now, your primary goal in the lead generation model is to ultimately connect your leads or connect with your leads to make them contacts. And then ultimately you want either leads or contacts to be cultivated into the appointment. Everyone following? It's not rocket science, but it can be a little distracting with all the pictures and everything. Then obviously to turn that appointment into active, under contract, and eventually a closed transaction. Now, what do you do with a person after a closed transaction? Do they just disappear? What do we do? Where do they go?
Recognize them in the grocery store.
Go back to the grocery store. Yeah, you nailed it. They actually go right back into your funnel where you continue cultivating to someday get another appointment. Or, even better, you keep cultivating the relationship until they send you a lead that you can then set into an appointment, or what we call a referral, which is one of the best gifts in real estate. Everyone in? Fantastic. All right. Now, for the purpose of the rest of our day, it's important to see this. Now, I'm going to go back and forth here. So this is the lead generation model. What changed? Once again, I'm going to go back to the original. Who can tell me what's different?
More words.
More words. Winner.
More stuff on the side.
What is the other stuff on the sides? What are the
Smart
more
plan
words?
opportunities.
What's that?
Smart plan opportunities, extra.
Where do these come from?
Command.
Bingo. What you have on this slide, which you guys all have a version of, is basically every aspect of command, all the different applets inside of command, and where they fit in the lead generation model. Everything from campaigns to designs, consumer, and then you've got leads, contacts, smart plans, tasks, opportunities, which help you all right here. The listings applet for active listings, reports that can help you track what's happening in this area. And so what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in a little bit and we're going to focus on the contacts in the middle. We're going to talk about what to do with your contacts to automate to follow the Millionaire Real Estate Agent models and systems. First thing to be aware of is this little thing called 36 to convert. You might have heard this as a 33 touch or a 36 touch. The new revised edition of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent is calling it a 36 to convert. And this shows up on page 146 of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. You might notice that we're talking about all very specific pages right in the same area because this is the whole lead generation model of the MREA. Page 146 talks about the 33 touch, now called the 36 to convert. Pop quiz. Who in the room knows what the 33 touch tells us? Or what is what is a 33 touch?
So, sphere of influence, that they would get 33 touches from you in a year, like birthday cards, email newsletter, e-blast,
Nailed it. What's your name?
note card, Kelsey.
Kelsey's my new favorite. Thank you, Kelsey. The Millionaire Real Estate Agent tells us that you should put your entire sphere of influence on what's called a 33 touch, which simplest form is you're touching them 33 times a year, appropriately. You are communicating with them, you are reaching out to them, you're having events to touch them 33 times a year. Now, fun fact, the 33 touch, where did they come up with that name? Well, when they were researching the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, I said earlier that they interviewed all the top agents in our industry, and what they found was that the vast majority of them were touching their database over 30 times a year, over 30. And so they came up with a 33 touch. In fact, I actually asked Dave Jenks once, he was one of the co-authors of the book, I asked, why 33? Like, was that the magic number? And he said, no, it looked good on paper. I was a little surprised by that answer, but that was his answer. He said ultimately it was between 30 and 70 touches a year. But we couldn't call it a 30 to 70 touch. That felt weird. And so we just picked 33 and ran with it. Because what we knew is that if we told people to touch their database 33 times, they were more likely to build mind share with everybody. Now, I'm not saying that that's junk science, that they just picked a number out of thin air. What I'm telling you is they just picked a number that people could remember, that we could then take action on. They're changing it to the 36 touch. Ready for this? Anyone want to know why they went with 36?
It's divisible by 12.
Yes, it
Makes
is.
it
That's
easier.
exactly it. That's 3 touches a month. It's easier to remember or keep track of 33 touches a year. Just think of it as 3 touches a month.
Yeah.
What are you doing to touch or reach out to your database 3 times a month? Then you hit 36 to convert your sphere of influence into appointments. Then, in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, they actually break down the 33 touch. And so this is another thing that's not in the MREA current. This is the new version. So right now, page 145 of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent talks about an 8x8, a 12 direct, and a 33 touch. What they're calling them in the revised edition is a 19 to connect. That's replacing an 8x8. They call it a 1 to cement. This slide just says cement. And that's one powerful touch that converts a lead into a contact, which then you put them on a 36 to convert. And I'll explain that again. New lead comes in. You should touch them 19 times as quickly as possible. This says 19 touches each year. Forget that. This is 19 touches in the first 3 months. You meet someone new, you should touch them at least 19 times in the first 3 months, at which point you could have a high value touch, like a client event or something that you invite them to that then cements the relationship, in which case now they can be on a 36 to convert with all of your other sphere of influence. The idea behind this is you meet somebody new at a backyard barbecue. If you just put them on a 36 to convert, like you have your family members on, it's not as impactful. You meet somebody new, you need to do multiple touches to remind them that you met them and that you're in real estate. And at which point now you can put them on a maintenance plan of a 36 to convert. We all following? Cool. So let's look deeper into a 36 to convert. What touches should you do in a 36 to convert? The first line is for calls. That's why we talk about all the time a quarterly call in real estate. We're going to talk about how to leverage Command to automate your quarterly calls, making sure that you're calling the right people every 90 days. And the cool thing is, when you do this properly, which we're going to get into today, your Command app every day when you wake up, it'll tell you the 4 people you should be calling today. And all you do is hit call, and it rings right from your cell phone. And then when you hang up, it literally asks you in the Command app, would you like to log that phone call? It's fantastic. It's like it does it for you. All you got to do is hit call and actually say hi. That's the big one. You got to say hi. And then a couple other words after that to build the relationship a little more. 4 calls, quarterly, if you will. The next one's 26. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, just a quick question about
Yeah,
that.
Tina.
And that's connected to your cell phone number, right?
It is.
Okay.
Yep. When you use the Command app with the quarterly call plan, when you hit call, it'll ring right from your cell phone.
Okay.
It actually gives you an option. If you have WhatsApp installed on your phone, you can call from WhatsApp if you want to instead.
Can you call from Twilio?
You can't call out from Twilio, but you can send text messages from Twilio from the Command app. Yep, good question. So the next line item is 26 touches, or what we call a bi-weekly email. In other words, everyone in your sphere of influence, according to the Millionaire Real Estate Agent and all of our studies, show that you should email them 26 times a year. Some of you are like, whoa, what? That's a lot of emails. Now, I do need to remind you that only about 26 to 30% of emails ever even get opened. And so that's why 26 emails a year is a good number to be at. In fact, if you ask most email marketing companies, they will say about 26 emails is the right amount of time to reach out to your client base. And I'm going to give you the tool today to automate all 26 of those emails. So you don't even have to come up with the content, which is really cool.
So, I'm assuming the 26 is the automated email like you mentioned. What's the likelihood of it being unsubscribed?
So that is a moving target, and I'll repeat the question in case anyone missed it. She said, what's the likeliness of somebody unsubscribing from an automated email? We see typically anywhere from about 3 to 9% unsubscribe rate. You typically see more like 9 or even a little higher than a 9% if you're sending emails to people that don't regularly hear from you or they don't recognize your name. They're more likely to unsubscribe. You should expect about 6% of all people that you ever email with any type of automated email to just unsubscribe. I get people sometimes that are in my classes, they say, Zach, yesterday somebody unsubscribed from my smart plan and it hurt. And then I console them a little bit and I say, I'm sorry. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever unsubscribed from somebody else's emails? And they look at me and they're like, yeah. I'm like, good, that's karma. Why in the world would you expect somebody else not to unsubscribe from yours if you unsubscribe from other people's? So it's okay to expect some unsubscribes. It's just normal. However, what you don't want to do is have one person unsubscribe and all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm not sending emails anymore. No, that's fine. By the way, I once had somebody that unsubscribed and I took offense to it. Like I was like, this person loves me and they unsubscribed from my email. So I called them and I said, I am so sorry that I sent you that and it offended you or you unsubscribed. They said, nope, it's just my work email and I unsubscribe from every email that has an unsubscribe button. I was like, awesome. They're like, please don't hesitate to reach out for anything. It's just what they do. And so it's okay. 26 bi-weekly emails. Now the next one is 2 touches. Those are considered events or get-togethers. I will say this. We can't automate these yet. Command can't host an event for you yet. I say yet. Someday, hopefully, maybe. In fact, I'd probably rather that it never actually does, because that's what we do well. What's that?
Would AI help?
With AI, definitely is helping. It can help us plan events with AI and come up with really great ideas to host events. But ultimately, you can't automate these. Now, you can automate the invitations to your events. Like you could use a smart plan to say, all right, I want to send an email to these 200 people to invite them to my client event, client appreciation party. And then 4 days later, I want a text message to go out. And then 2 days after that, I want it to remind me to call all of them. That's a great way to automate that follow-up. And then 15 days later, I want to text them again saying, great seeing those of you that were able to attend. I'm sorry that I couldn't say hi to everybody. These are great ways to automate a part of that. And by the way, those touches, are those considered touches? Yeah. They're not a part of your 36 to convert. They're just bonus touches when you're sending additional touches to those client events. The last one is 4 types of promotional stuff. Top agents all across the country tend to give out promotional swag, if you will. This can be expensive, but it can also be really cheap, and that's what I'm a big fan of. My wife calls me frugal. I say I'm cheap, she just says I'm frugal, but it's the same thing. I'm a big fan of free. If it's free, it's for me, okay? So I want you to spend as little money as possible for these promotional touches. I'll give you some ideas. Here's a really, really cheap one. Ready? It's a refrigerator magnet with your business card. And I know some of you are like, yeah, those have been around forever. Exactly. It's a great touch. You can buy magnets with stickies, and you just take your business card and put the sticky on there and put it in an envelope. One stamp will get it to them, and guess what some people are gonna do with that?
Throw it away.
Yep. But guess what they have to do to throw it away?
Look at it.
They just sign your name. That's a touch. Now, other people are gonna look at it and they're gonna be like, "Ooh, I need another magnet for my fridge," and then they're gonna put it on the fridge. I was teaching a class just earlier in Santa Clara, and one of their top agents there who closed 8 transactions last week. He just got a client from an open house 4 months ago. He met them at the open house. He put them on an open house follow-up plan, which had multiple calls, emails, and text messages. They didn't respond to a single one. But when they were at the open house, he also gave them a magnet with his business card on it. And they just happened to have put that magnet on their fridge. They didn't respond to a single call, a single email, or a single text message. 4 months later, 3.5 months later, they called him and they said, "Hey, we've been walking by your magnet every single day. We're ready to list our home." It's not always the high-tech stuff that works, but it's other types of touches that you can do. Promotional items. Sports schedules are a great thing to put a calendar magnet on, because when you send them a sports schedule for the Giants, for instance, or the 49ers, if they're a fan, it goes on their fridge. If they're not, it goes in their garbage, and that's okay too. Yes, sir.
My very first lead 2 years ago was a seller's lead, and we did the seller presentation, everything went well, and a few weeks later he said he's going to wait.
Okay.
But since that was my first lead, I was like, oh my God, I gotta reach out to him every month, every occasion. So it happened to be that I reached out to him on Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year, back to back calls and text messages.
Mm-hmm.
And he got my third call and the text message that he said, "You know what, I am getting a little nervous with the amount of calls you're making." And I said, "Okay, well, I'm so sorry, it wasn't my intent. I just wanted to, wish you happy holidays, and then of course back to back New Year." So, and then of course, it's the motivation, and that changed a couple of months ago, and we're listing his home in a couple of weeks.
Fantastic.
But
Now,
I stayed in touch with him.
that's right. Now, when he said he was getting a little nervous on how much you're calling me, did you ask him how often he would like you to follow up?
No, I didn't, but I just.
You just cut that.
Switched to, quarterly.
Cool.
Call
There you go.
every.
Yep, that's fantastic. And the next time you called, did you say, "Hey, I hope I'm not calling too soon"?
No, then he became okay. 6 months later, when I actually called him, he was so happy, and he said, "Oh, glad you called. Everything is good." Another year goes by. Then, of course, I get to talk to him.
Fantastic. I love it. Lots of ways to do it. Alma.
So I had attended a marketing meeting in Castro Valley, and one of the agents was talking about just like frugal ways of marketing herself.
Yeah.
And she had mentioned going to the dollar store
Mhm.
to take out supplies for each, like, if it's like Christmas or Valentine's Day or whatever, and she takes all of those supplies, puts her business card on them, and just mails it out to people.
Mhm.
But then also she does this thing on social media where she will like get gift cards from restaurants and have like little sweepstakes so that people online are also like engaging with her as well.
Yep, I love that. Thank you for sharing. I'll share another strategy. This is a top agent out in Chicago. What she does is she goes on what's the reservation system for restaurants? What's that?
Open door.
Open table.
Open table. She goes on Open Table like every month, and what she does is she makes a reservation for 2 at all the restaurants that are hardest to get reservations for on different nights. And then the week before the reservations come up, guess what she does?
I can't make this reservation.
She sends out a blast and she says, "Hey, I've got a reservation for this restaurant and I can't make it. Has anybody been wanting to get a reservation? I'll change it to your name." Brilliant. How many times have you wanted to go to that one restaurant and be like, "Dang, I should have made a reservation 60 days ago." And all of a sudden now it's your realtor that is reaching out saying, "Hey, I got a reservation for you." Here's another fun one. We've got a trainer here in the region that uses Command to automate his home anniversary, or excuse me, his wedding anniversary reminders. I'm gonna say something a little sexist, but it's not me, it was him. What he does is he only does this for his male clients. He reaches out to them and he says, hey, what's your wedding anniversary? And they're like, why? And he says, because I care about you, and I'm not saying you'll ever forget, but I have a system that I can remind you 4 days before your wedding anniversary every year. And they have to go digging for it, because, again, he said he does this for men, we're more likely to forget this kind of stuff. He's got about 36 people on this campaign, and he just sets a task 4 days before their wedding anniversary every single year to call them. And he just calls them and says, hey, how's it going? How's everything going? I really doubt you forgot, but just wanted you to know your wedding anniversary is in 4 days. I was talking with him, and literally just 2 weeks ago, he was talking to a good friend, and he completely forgot. He was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Do you want a reservation that I can't make?
That's what I told him. I was like, dude, you should start making reservations like a month ahead of time. So now, when you call and ask for the anniversary, also ask the wife's favorite restaurant. And then 30 days before the anniversary, make the reservation under your name. Call 4 days before. When they say they forgot, transfer the reservation to his name. I got goosebumps just talking about it, and it's like, it's brilliant. These are ways to systematize. In Command, we call those tasks. You just schedule a task for 4 days before their anniversary. In Command, you can even create a custom field. When you hit Edit in Contacts, down at the bottom under Additional Contact Information, you can create a custom field called Wedding Anniversary, and you can just put wedding anniversaries. It'll be down at the bottom of the contact card.
And you can have tasks that automate to custom fields like that?
You can't. You have to just make the task. So when you find out their anniversary, you just schedule the task for 4 days before.
Oh, okay.
And then when you call, you just schedule it again for a year later on the same day. Brilliant. Great question. Okay, we're going to stop for a second, and we're going to get into Command and how to actually use smart plans to do this 36 to convert. Who has an aha? Steve.
Not necessarily an aha, but I mean, I haven't been with Keller Williams since the beginning of MREA. You know, we were taught the 8x8 touch, 8x8, which was once a week for 8 weeks.
Mhm.
And that was cementing the relationship.
Yep.
And then the 33 touch was saturate thereafter.
Yep.
So my aha is that really you need to expand or escalate the 8x8 and really do it like weekly for about 4 or 5 months.
Yep.
Not just 2 weeks, not just 2 months.
Yep.
But-
You might call it a 19 by 12
Yeah,
instead of an 8 by 8.
Yeah, really,
Mhm.
really hit it hard for 3, 4, 5 months to really cement the relationship, and then saturate with 36 thereafter.
And what the researchers found when they were researching the revised edition is that because of the advent of social media, it took more touches in the early meeting of a relationship to really cement that relationship than what it took 20 years ago.
Yeah, and you touched on it before, I mean, email's great, email's easy, email's inexpensive, but email's not read.
It's not
So
everything.
you can't just, rely on that.
Yeah.
You've got to do other things that are gonna be more memorable. Like you said, the reservation, the wedding anniversary, the personalized message is gonna be remembered a lot longer than anything else that you send them.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I have just an observation, and half the time I know these people, and when they come to open houses, they probably don't really have an agent, but I have experienced a lot of people who claim to be working with an agent, and most times I truly believe that they are, but a lot of times they can't even remember the name of the agent who they purport or claim to be working with, and that tells me that a lot of us aren't going out of our way to really cement this relationship early on, so that they are, feel connected to us. They ought to at least be able to remember your name.
And to be fair, there's definitely some consumers that claim they're working with an agent just to
Exactly.
deflect having to work
But
with
you
you.
can usually tell the ones that are doing that, because you'll get the husband will look at the wife and go, what's the name of the guy that we, met with last week? You know they have some.
They had it.
But I'm thinking, God, you spent time with him and they don't even remember his name. You wonder, what did you leave them?
They
Or
don't
what
have a
kind of
buyer
impression
broker
did you
agreement,
make?
yeah.
What
Mhm.
kind of impression did you make?
Yeah.
So just something to keep in mind. I mean, even one meeting may not be enough to really establish the relationship.
Yep, yep, thank you, Steve.
My aha is that it stands for agents helping agents.
I had an aha about ahas.
That's.
It doesn't actually stand for that, but I heard
I
that
like it.
recently, and so I
I'm stealing.
claim it. Good, it's yours, I'll sue you.
Business card.
Steve?
Magnet on business card for open houses.
Easy, why not? Yeah, absolutely. A lot of them are gonna get thrown away, they're like 30 cents a piece to buy the magnet sticker on it, it's so awesome.
Every appointment I go on, or even if it's social, and I know they're on my mailing list, I always make sure that I make it to the kitchen to see if my calendar is on the kitchen, on the refrigerator. And it always is. And sometimes if people have stuff all over the refrigerator, there'll be other agents' stuff on there too. But I'm the one who's getting the calls. I had a closing a couple weeks ago, and I remember the seller, he had quite a bit of stuff on the refrigerator. We packed up the house, cleared everything out, and he drove back to the East Coast with his daughter. He took everything off. I have represented the buyer too. He took everything off the refrigerator except my calendar. He left my calendar on the refrigerator for the new owner. I laughed at that when I saw that. He went out of his way to leave that there.
I love it. Thank you for sharing.
All the new ideas, connecting with the client, like booking.
Yeah, reservations?
Reservations, booking, and also the sports schedule, which I never thought of.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's more helpful when the season is there, we can connect with the clients using that.
That's awesome. I'll give you guys one more high value touch or promotional item that you could add. It may not work in your area, but I stopped selling real estate about 8 years ago. The last year in real estate, we did a really great promotional touch, my business partner and I. In our area, the garbage schedule is very set. And every day, or every week, they come and pick up garbage. And then every other week, they pick up recycling or green waste. No one remembers what week is green waste or what week is recycling. Our recycling company, Republic, used to send calendars. They stopped doing it. And they said, go to our website if you don't remember. So guess what we did? We got their schedule, and our entire farm was all on the same schedule, and we made a branded schedule and sent it to people. It was probably the most responded promotional item we ever did. They were like 75 cents a piece. And not only did our clients in our farm area get them and respond, we had complete strangers that reached out and said, I wondered why they stopped sending these. Thank you so much for starting it back up. They thought it was us that were making the schedules all along.
Innovative idea.
It just worked. It may not work. Find the thing, and guess what? Those are the types of things that got left on people's fridges when they moved out because the same calendar worked year after year after year. Okay, let's talk about how or what smart plans to use to automate the 36 to convert. I have 4 smart plans up on the board here, and you don't have to write all these down because again, you have a digital copy of this whole thing. Here are the 4 smart plans that if you use, guess how many touches? Who's my math whiz?
36.
Yes! 26 bi-weekly neighborhood nurture. This is what's called the bi-weekly neighborhood nurture smart plan. That's 26 emails a year. Do you guys remember how many emails you should be sending for 36 to convert? 26. That's it. The bi-weekly neighborhood nurture. It's fantastic. The bi-weekly neighborhood nurture sends an email every 2 weeks to anyone that you put on the smart plan. And what it does is you need to have a neighborhood associated with their contact. Now, if you have their address in command, our AI automatically goes and finds the neighborhood and assigns it. If you don't know their address, go assign them to the closest neighborhood to where you think they live. If you met them at an open house, put them in the neighborhood where the open house was. Because chances are they either want to move to that neighborhood or they already live there. Put them in other neighborhoods. Put them in the neighborhood they grew up in. Put them in the neighborhood they would move to next. Put them in the neighborhood of their dreams. If they go on vacation to Waikiki or South Lake Tahoe every single year, put them in a neighborhood there. They're going to get the $4 million homes in that area. Are they going to buy them? Nope. But are they going to click on them? Mm-hmm. If they own an investment property, ask them where the investment property is and put them on the neighborhood nurture for that area. That way when the house comes up for sale next to their investment property, they're getting it from you. Whether that investment is in Phoenix or Portland, the neighborhood nurture just does it. Slick. Fantastic. The biweekly neighborhood nurture. The next one's the quarterly call plan. Then you've got the birthday plan. That's 4 touches on a birthday plan. Some of you are like, what? 4 birthday touches? Ready? If you put somebody on the birthday plan, you need to have their date of birth, or at least month and day. Then you can put them on the birthday plan. What it does is it reminds you 5 days before their birthday to send them a birthday card. Brilliant. Then it reminds you the day before their birthday to call them and wish them a happy birthday. Some people wait a day and call them on their birthday. I say hogwash. Call them the day before. Say, hey, it's your birthday. Just kidding. I know it's tomorrow, but everyone else is going to call you tomorrow, and I wanted you to feel special today. Happy birthday. Now, if you miss that call, don't call them on their birthday. Call them the day after. And then completely change the conversation. Hey, it's your birthday. Just kidding. I know that was yesterday, but I wanted you to feel special today. Don't tell them you forgot to call them. It also sends a text message on their birthday saying happy birthday from your favorite neighborhood realtor. Zach Younger. You just have to edit the text message to put your name in it. Otherwise, it'll just say happy birthday, ! You do have to use Twilio to make that birthday smart plan happen. The next one is the home anniversary plan. That's 2 more touches. For those of you unaware of home anniversaries, these are like birthdays for realtors. We get an extra birthday we get to celebrate with all of our past clients. It's their home anniversary. You put their home anniversary on the contact card, and it's going to remind you 4 days before their anniversary to put a gift card or a card just saying happy home anniversary. And then on the day of, it reminds you to call them. It's brilliant. Most systems out there that automate anniversaries, they stop after 3 or 4 years. Command never stops unless you take them off the plan or you change their anniversary date and then it just adjusts to their new anniversary date. I repeat, I guess I can't repeat if I don't say it first. Do not, and I repeat, do not stop calling after 3 or 4 years. The first anniversary is a great call. Hey, you've been in your house for a year already. Can you believe it? And they're like, wow, really? And then you could just say, just wanted you to know that I care about you and I'm so glad that we decided to help you buy that property last year. And that's it. Now you could ask them for a referral, but you don't have to. Just talk to them. And then 2 years. Hey, you've been in your house for 2 years already. What I know about a lot of my past clients is about 2 years in is when you start deciding to do different projects. I've got a whole list of vendors that you might need for different projects. Are you planning anything in your house? If they say yes, awesome. Get them in touch with a handyman, a contractor, someone that you can refer legitimately to. I prefer contractors because they're usually licensed and bonded, and that's a good thing if you're going to send them to your clients or past clients. Now, if they say no, then you're going to say, fantastic, you love the house still? And they might just say, no, we're actually thinking about moving soon. It's a great conversation. Schedule the appointment. 3rd year, 4th year, 5th year is where magic happens. And then you say, hey, happy home anniversary. You've been here for 5 years. Did you know that statistically speaking, you're going to be moving soon? And they're like, yeah, you're right. We're getting the itch. Brilliant. Just plant the seed. Statistically speaking, you're going to be moving soon. Now, if this area where people don't move every 7 years, and maybe it's 12 years, then you can't maybe not have that assumptive conversation until their 8th anniversary. Or 20th. But it all works. So if you know the smart plans to use, how do you do it? Well, you need to add the smart plans to your library, and we're going to jump into Command here really quickly. So you should all be familiar with Command. In order to use Smart Plans, if you weren't aware, you have to go to your Smart Plans library. So over on the left-hand side, if I go to Smart Plans, it's going to take you to My Smart Plans. I'm in my team account. Let me switch over here. It says My Smart Plans right there. Just to the right is the library of Smart Plans. Think of this like a library where you can go check out books, except you're checking out Smart Plans. So you can go to the library and you can find the Smart Plans that you're looking for. Here's a fun little life hack for you. When you go to the library, skip over the featured Smart Plans and just click on the Keller Williams Smart Plans. What that does is it's going to drill down to just our system plans. Our system plans is where you're going to find all 4 of those Smart Plans for your 36 to convert, including the biweekly neighborhood nurture. All you have to do is just hit Add Smart Plan. Now, it's going to ask you what you want to name the Smart Plan. You can change the name if you want. I don't recommend that. And then you're just going to hit download. If it won't let you download, that's okay. It's not broken. It's because you already have it in your library. It's not going to accidentally let you download it twice. So that's an okay thing. So there's the biweekly neighborhood nurture. The next one's the quarterly call plan. Add Smart Plan, and then download. Next one after that, on the next page, on the next line, there's your birthday Smart Plan. There's your home anniversary plan. You also have a monthly neighborhood nurture. I actually recommend you download that to your library. Even though we recommend you use the biweekly neighborhood nurture to send 26 emails a year, the reason you might download them monthly, let's just say you're talking to a client or a past client or a friend of yours and you say, hey, I've got this really cool technology that can keep you up to date with what's going on in your neighborhood every 2 weeks. And they go, whoa, 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 that's too much. Don't argue with them. Just say, okay, cool, I can send it monthly. Is that better? And then put them on the monthly neighborhood nurture instead. And we don't have to argue with them. You've got a option. There's some other cool Smart Plans like the open house follow-up plan, which is really cool. You've got the promote my app plan. Lots of good Smart Plans in here. Now, once you have the Smart Plans, they're going to live in the My Smart Plans library where you can add contacts, you can edit the Smart Plans. There's some plans, like the biweekly neighborhood nurture, you can't edit that one. That one's all automated. Because the AI edits it right before it sends it off. It goes and cross-references the MLS of that neighborhood, finds the active sales, the average sales price, average price per square foot, and average days on market, and it puts it all into the email in real time for you. But like the birthday plan, you can go in and customize the birthday text message if you want to, or any of the other Smart Plans that you download. So you can add people to the Smart Plan just by going and searching for a contact and adding them here. However, you can also add them right from a contact record. So if I'm in a contact, let's say I met somebody at an open house, maybe it was Aaron, and I want to add them to a Smart Plan. Right from here, I can hit the 3 little dots right in the middle of the screen and hit Add Smart Plan. Or I can go over here to Smart Plans, and I can hit Add to Smart Plan, and there's a list of all my Smart Plans. I have a lot of Smart Plans. You probably won't. You should have like 5 to 10. I have like 75 because I test a lot of stuff. Don't do that. But if you do, just search. I'm going to search biweekly. There's my biweekly neighborhood nurture. I can hit select and then confirm. That'll add them to the Smart Plan. Now when I add a contact to the Smart Plan, I can start now or I can start on a following date. So let's say you meet somebody at an open house and in your command app, you add the contact to your phone and then you go to add them to the Smart Plan because you can do all that right from your command app. When you do it and you meet them at like an open house, I actually recommend doing a delayed start and start the next day. Because it can be a little weird if they get an email the moment they get to their car. That feels a little stalkerish. I'm not saying you're a stalker if you do that. I'm just saying it feels stalkerish for some people. So just do a delayed start for the next day. It works really well. One thing that you might consider doing if you do a lot of open houses, you can actually download the open house Smart Plan and you can edit it. And you could say, all right, start the open house Smart Plan, which is going to send them a text saying, great to meet you at the open house. And then you can add another step into that Smart Plan and say, start the biweekly neighborhood nurture the next day. That's getting a little more advanced, but just kind of planting some seeds and some ideas of things you can do with that. So that's another way to add contacts to a smart plan. I'm gonna go back to my contacts. There's one last way that you can add contacts to a smart plan. Earlier we talked about the the quarterly call plan. So let's talk about the best practices there. If you have 2,000 contacts, I have 2,833 contacts, 2,833. I do not, and I repeat, I do not recommend that you put 2,800 people on a quarterly call plan. You know why? Because in order to call 2,800 people 4 times a year, do you know how many people I gotta call a day?
A lot.
It's like 36. Now, there's some freaks out there that are really good at making a lot of phone calls and enjoy calling 36 people a day. And I'm not saying you're a freak if you enjoy that. I'm just saying you're a freak. Most of us, if we see that we need to call 36 people today, we start hyperventilating and we shut down the computer. What we recommend, best practice, pick your 300 or 200. Maybe 400, but 300 is kind of the sweet spot. Pick the 300 people you actually like talking to and put those 300 people on a smart plan. What a lot of people do in Command is they have a custom tag like A+ or VIP, and you can have your 300 of your favorite clients with a VIP tag in Command. Then you could come in and say, all right, show me my VIP tags, and I'm just going to type in my family tags. I have 7. Let's just say I had 300 with this tag. Well, now what I can do is I can hit this little check mark at the top left. That's the bulk selector. Now it just grabbed everybody and it gave me a new option for bulk action. 5th down on the list in alphabetical order is add to smart plan. Now I can go in and add them to a quarterly call plan. It's going to now verify if they have the information that I need. 3 of them are missing a phone number, including myself. Nope, that's my cousin Zoe. Just kidding, that's a made-up person. I don't know who that is. But Parker is my son. He doesn't have a phone number. Josh, my cousin, for some reason I don't have a phone. Now I could add them to the plan even though they don't have a phone number, but guess what's going to happen? The next day it's going to try to have me call them, but they don't have a phone number, so it's going to drop them off the plan. But if I add a phone number, I could put them right back on the plan. Now, I could add them all right now. I could start them on a following date, just like we saw before. But now we have a third option when you do a bulk add to Smart Plan. Stagger start over the next few days. Life hack. If you're putting 300 people on a quarterly call plan, here's your math. I'm going to pull out my calculator, and we're going to do this in real time. We take 300 contacts, divided by how many days? 90. Because there's 90 days in a quarter. So 300 divided by 90, it's 3 1/3. Now you can't call 1/3 of a person, so we're going to round up. Let's call it 4. Now what you're going to do is you're going to say, all right, what I want to do is stagger start all 300 of these contacts, and I want to put 4 of them a day on the Smart Plan. Now what's going to happen is if I do this with 300 contacts, tomorrow I'm going to get a task to call 4 of them. And if I call them, awesome, I'm done for the day. Of course you'll have other things to do, but you made the calls you needed to. Then the next day it's going to get 4 more people for me to call. And the next day. Now, if on the second day I only call 2, the next day I'll have to call 6. The 4 new and the 2 I hadn't called yet. This is why we don't recommend putting 2,800 people on a Smart Plan for a quarterly call. Because then you get 2,800 tasks to call all of them and you don't know where to start. The staggered start, big life hack. It's one of those things that make you love your business a little more when you only got to call 4 people.
How do you preview the emails that you're sending out, like when you're on the Smart Plans? Like to see exactly like a neighborhood?
You can put yourself on the Smart Plan if you want to see it exactly. But if you want to see like the data for what's going to show up there, down by the neighborhoods, you see that little map? I'll open one here. Do you see it?
No, I don't.
Okay. So right here by the neighborhoods, right below it is a map.
Okay.
So my brother lives in Westwood Hills. There's the map of Westwood Hills. I can hit preview right there. Now it's not gonna show me the exact email that gets sent out, but it's gonna show me the data that'll be included in the email, like the average home price, average price per square foot, and the average days on market. And I'll also see the homes that are for sale that will end up in the email as well. Great question.
One that's not in the neighborhood nurture, just hit edit on the smart plan.
Yep. You got it. Show brilliant.
And just remember that those neighborhood nurturers, they're pulling everything from the all property types from the MLS. So you're getting detached houses, condos, and townhouses all lumped together. So the data may not be ideally what you'd like to see,
Mhm.
because the averages are gonna be lower because of the condos and townhouses being added.
Can you change that?
But that's just the way it is. So you just have to be aware of that so you can explain that if it comes up as an issue.
Yeah, when they come back and say, hey, your email said that the average sales price in my neighborhood is 1 million, it's 5.
Exactly.
Just know to be like, that's also because there's some rentals in there or some condos that happen to be in your neighborhood that are also being factored in.
Yeah.
Here's what I need you to know. The good news is when your neighbor's houses come up for sale, those are in the email too. That's valuable, right? And they'll be like, yeah, fantastic. By the way, it sounds like it's really important for you to know the average sales price in the neighborhood. Would you like me to manually run a report that's gonna be super accurate for you? And if they say yes, just do it. You can set up a hot sheet in the MLS, right? To just go in and run that hot sheet and then send it over to them. Probably, I'm guessing your MLS
So
will
yeah,
allow that.
we can
Yeah.
send them whatever you want to send them.
Yep.
Map it out, and property type.
Okay, we are out of time, and I just want to close up because some people, you're good. Some people just say, Zach, I don't know where to start. Where do I start? And so I just want to simplify this and break it down to 4 things to do today. First, add your contacts to command because you can't put them on smart plans if they're not in command. So just add them, get them in there. Then clean them up. Clean up your contacts. Go through all your contacts, add more information to them. If you only have a phone number, call them and get their email. If you don't have their address, get their address and add it. That way you can get them on smart plans by adding everything up. Now, what I skipped on the clean one, if you come across a contact that you added to command, and every time you see their name, you shudder a little bit. Like, you really don't like them. Here's my suggestion to you. Archive them. If they make you sad every time you see their name, don't have them in your business database. And for the love of Pete, don't put them on a quarterly call plan. And definitely don't put them on a happy birthday plan. Instead, just refer them to William. Get them in there, clean them up, update their information, and then use the smart plans. I'm going to just quickly, BWNN, anyone want to guess what that stands for? Biweekly Neighborhood Nurture. We like acronyms. MNN? Monthly. QCP? Quarterly Call Plan. That's the tough one, I know. And then you got anniversary. Super, super simple. All right. There is one last slide that you're going to see on the digital version with Q&A and a couple other things that you can track inside of Command. It's not that important. What I'd rather do is get into some ahas. Did you guys find value here today? You found something that you're going to do differently? Cool. I told you at the beginning to be ready to share an aha. I need at least 4 ahas before I let you go. They don't have to be great ahas, just your aha. A light bulb moment. What's one thing that you're going to do differently? Will?
You don't have to put everybody on the quarterly call plan, just the top 300.
It's nice to have that
Yeah.
flexibility to just pick the people you like talking to and call them quarterly. Thank you.
I like the idea of talking to your clients and getting to know, like, if they have an example, investment property example in Tahoe, so start that smart plan to them. I never felt that it would be helpful. Good
And
idea.
their old childhood neighborhood. I
Yeah.
grew up in central Minnesota. When my childhood home comes up for sale, or my childhood best friend's home down the street comes up for sale, I get it for myself. Am I gonna buy it? No. But am I gonna click on it?
Yes.
And then I'm gonna text my childhood best friend and say, hey, your old home's for sale. And all I'm doing is reminding them I'm in real estate and I'm sending them value. Thank you for the aha. 2 more. Can't leave until I get 2 more.
Well, I was gonna say, there's a lot of cool smart plans in the library.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of them are made up by Keller people, throughout the country. So if you got a few minutes, just scroll through and look at some of them, because there's a lot of different neat ideas that people came up with for smart plans. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel and come up with your own. There's just all
There's
kinds
like
of.
4,000
There's
smart
all
plans
kinds
in
of
there
stuff
now.
in there, yeah.
One of my favorites, if you speak Spanish, go search Spanish smart plans. One of the biggest ahas I had was somebody that I was in a class with. They were like, I speak Spanish, and what I did is I went and grabbed a really great Spanish smart plan, and then I went and edited it, and I sent it to all my clients in both Spanish and English. That way, the ones that would rather read it in Spanish can read it in Spanish, and those that read it in English, read it in English. But what she found when she did this is that she was getting referrals from her English-speaking people that were sending her Spanish-speaking friends because she was getting an email that was also written in Spanish. That they never would have thought to send her this referral.
Wow.
Different things, and there's other languages that you can find smart plans in and things like that. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, and if you're, we have, KW Advisors has the monthly market report.
Yeah, it's a great touch.
That's in the Smart Plans library. So that's where you can find, our quarterly, comes out about the middle, I think it put it about the middle of the month, something like that. That's where it is.
Okay, one more.
I like the open house one. It's super easy to follow.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Bottom line, guys, is automate as much as you can. You gotta enhance the automation with meaningful phone calls or value touches. What can you do that's very inexpensive to just come from contribution? Have the conversation, wish them happy anniversaries, remind them that they've got a wedding anniversary coming up. Send them an item of value like a garbage schedule or a sports schedule or just a magnet with your business card. Get stuff in front of them. Use command to automate, follow up. Use the command app to make the calls. Trust me when I say the command app is brilliant. It makes making those calls so much easier.
There's a war story. I closed escrow on a rental property owned by a client of mine. And we closed 5 days before the 30th anniversary of my sale of his current principal residence. I mean, it's
30-year-old client.
5 days after the close was the 30th anniversary of his purchase of the home I sold him 30 years ago.
And did you know this just because of an anniversary plan you had?
I knew it was coming up,
Yeah.
and it was a topic of discussion during the,
How long have you known each
whole
other? It's
process.
been 30 years?
Yeah, we met over 30 years.
Clients go
That
up.
was within the counting referrals, that was for that client, that was the fourth transaction for that client.
Fourth just for them?
Just that client.
Not including the referrals that they've sent you out? That's awesome. Value of a database. Fantastic. All right, guys, I'm gonna hang out. If you guys have any questions or just want to chat, dive into anything else, fantastic. Otherwise, it was really great meeting you. For those of you I met for the first time, know that you've got a really great Market Center tech trainer and an incredible leadership team here that can support you with other follow-up questions that you have. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you guys in other classes that I have as well.
Thank you so
Have
much.
a safe and glorious week.
Thank you.
No, thank you.